Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I'm Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Welcome to the family. It's an honor to have you. If you're returning, welcome back. I have missed you. In today's reading, we are getting healing messages from our guides. I thought that this was incredibly appropriate. I woke up in the middle of the night. My daughter wanted to talk to me. She's at her dad's right now. She wanted to go over her new college essay with me, which talks about her first experience with heart palpitations and the early stages of her POTS before she was diagnosed, and how that really did change her life. And from there, then I sat and I listened to my neighbors who apparently decided that 1 o'clock in the morning was the right time to try and build a shed or a house or something. I called my husband, who is in the middle of his day in Abu Dhabi, and I laid in bed thinking maybe I'll doze off. And then your guides came through and inspired this message. Healing messages from your guides. Now with this, I am going to be offering Reiki during the reading itself, during each individual pile. Excuse me, guys. I will be offering Reiki, and I set the intention so that it will flow to those who welcome it and are open to receiving it. If you are looking for a healing, this is a great way to understand another depth of healing that is being offered. And it's, as always, an honor to be able to share my healing gifts and the attunements that I've had with everyone. So, because this is going to be coming out after I've had surgery, I thought it was one of those kind of like I got tickled pink thinking about this is what your guides want to bring forward, because I will genuinely be in a physical healing phase when you guys come across this. Or if you watch it when it comes out. Goodness. So now we have 3 piles. Each one has a different energy healing card. And I am going to give you guys some time, some meditation music. Allow yourselves to get into the flow of the energy. Allow yourselves to be led to the pile or piles that you are being called to. The timestamps will be in the description box below, and I will see you at your piles. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the first card, this is your message from your guides for your healing. So as you guys might be able to see, I do have some sage burning. I just burnt some Palo Santo. I'm actually going to do another round of Palo Santo as we go over the card here together. And if you skipped the intro, not a problem. I do want to give a disclaimer here. I am offering Reiki. I have opened my channel, and I am starting with some cleansing. I am utilizing both sage as well as Palo Santo smoke. We're going to cleanse and clear the energy using the smoke. We're going to talk about the healing message. I can already feel my hands tingling. This energy is set to flow to any who accept it openly to receive it. If you do not care to receive the energy, that is not a problem. That doesn't mean you can't listen to the message. It doesn't mean the message of healing is not here for you. It is an added benefit that I am offering, that my guides called me to engage with. I'm going to put that on the spoon. Interesting. So that is what we are going to do here. So if you choose to accept the energy, I ask that when you are done with this reading, you take time to yourself if you can. Just some quiet time, some reflection time. Also, please make sure that you drink lots of water, do some grounding. I will infuse some grounding right towards the end of the message so that it helps you to transition from the reading outward. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the message. So I am now flowing that Reiki energy to you, and I ask that you focus on the image on this card. Okay. So the core part of this energy, this message, this healing that your guides are calling you to has to do with loving yourself. This card says, I attend to my needs by listening to my heart. My inner essence lets me know what is good for me. I respect my limits. I answer the requests of my body and my soul. Thus, I learn to love myself. In the world that we live in, it can be very easy to forget or negate the physicality of our existence. Too often in this world, we see the imbalances with financial aspects. We see that upper 1% versus the other 99 that are always struggling. And we can have this kind of resistance to the material world. We're told that being materialistic means that we're being egotistical, and that means that we are lacking a sense of spirituality in our life. And so we come across these gurus, these messages, these teachings that tell us to divest ourselves of all of our earthly possessions. But in that, we're also an underlying energy to that message is to divest ourselves of our connection to our physical body, because we are seeking transcendence. We are seeking enlightenment. But the true nature of transcendence and enlightenment is to accept the fact that our souls chose to come here into this life, into the body that we exist within, with all of the struggles and all of the challenges that that entails, and to learn to love that part of ourselves, to love our physical vessel, because it is a divine blessing, even when we can't see it or feel it. And I do see 1122, and I just saw 112211 actually. So it's these mastery energies. You master a part of yourself, and then you learn how to rebuild your entire surroundings and existence. And then you move forward with a new level of mastery because you have learned how to do this. When we learn to listen to our bodies, to listen to the limitations that we have, and we recognize that the limitations that we have aren't there to punish us. They're not there because we're incapable or inadequate in any way, shape, or form. It's there because we exist in a physical realm, a realm that has different rules than the spiritual realm. And when we seek that enlightened attainment, when we seek that elevation, that ascension into a better grasp of our spiritual selves, sometimes we fail to remember that in that drive, that desire, that aim and reach that we have in getting to that place, that if we were not in the body that we are in and existing in the life that we exist in, we would not have the opportunity to get there. So our souls come here to learn lessons, and we have a hard time comprehending that. And because we have a hard time comprehending that, a lot of the times the things that we go through, we tend to either project onto others, or we internalize and take a lot of blame and shame into our own hearts and souls. And we learn how to not listen to what is right for us because the rest of the world says that we must do X, Y, and Z. But if we were not to have come into this life, then our souls would still be stagnant in this. I have lessons to learn, but I can't learn them in the spiritual, because as much information and awareness as is accessible in that spiritual form, in the form of spirit and energy purely, without the physicality of this life, there is still a lack in that place of what we have here. Just as we feel like we lack here, so too do we do there. That's why we come here, because we understand that physical and spiritual, they're harmonious together. They're meant to be unified. And our lessons that we learn in life are stored within our spirit. They're stored within our soul. They're the purpose for us incarnating into every life. Sometimes the things that we experience here drive us to want to move beyond the physical experience. And in that, we're not realizing that learning how to love ourselves means that it can sometimes entail learning how to say, I'm too tired to engage in this. In fact, when I did the intro, it was about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And when I finished, I realized I was genuinely tired. And I set up your reading, and I realized that my body was telling me I need extra rest before I sit down to do this channeling. So I went back to bed, and I woke up early in the morning and started, doing my normal daily routine. But then my body was like, no, you need a little extra rest. So I went and got extra rest. And I paused and I gave myself that process time. I did a healing session for myself with my own tools and techniques. And then I felt very ready to come back here to sit down with you and to talk about this, to channel this message. When we learn how to respect those limitations and we hear what our hearts tell us, sometimes it's very, very simple. Sometimes it's not go conquer the world. Sometimes it's just take a nap, eat some fruit, eat some vegetables. Sometimes it's go outside and stand in the sun for 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Just let that sun hit your skin for just a moment so that you can feel the love from the cosmos for this life that you exist within. Sometimes it's, I understand that you're having a hard time sleeping, and so that the universe comes to you at night and helps give you the tools to navigate through the evening so that you can sleep when the time is right for you. Your body will let you know, this is where I'm at. My circadian rhythm is changing. And when we learn that these are parts of this experience, they're things that our souls chose to experience because our souls chose to have this kind of conflict of self versus established systems, established ideations and beliefs. And the self may not always follow that. It's learning how to love the self, even when the self is at odds with what the outside world says. And that's really important for you, Pile 1, because you're a very unique soul, as we all are. And sometimes that uniqueness can make us feel as though we are lesser because we struggle in this way or that way. But we only struggle because there's some sort of source within ourselves or outside of ourselves telling us that we don't fit within a specific given mold. The mold that you fit within is the mold that your soul came here to be a part of. You may even be the one that created it. And so learning to love yourself means learning to understand that it's what your inner world is saying to you that matters above and beyond whatever anything outside of yourself says. So when we learn how to listen to our body and honor that, we learn how to love ourselves on a completely different level. So these 3 are messages from your guides about this self-love journey. They want to give you just a little bit more advice. And these are some final thoughts from your ancestors moving forward. So you have the 3 of Swords, the 8 of Cups, and the 9 of Cups. I love this. It's a very beautiful progression. The 3 of Swords, this is arguably one of my favorite 3 of Swords because it really does highlight what happens when our mindset really tears apart our own heart. When what we're thinking about ourselves and ourselves in terms of interpersonal relationships or our relationship with the world or our relationship with ourselves and with our body, when those thoughts veer towards the negative and the hurtful and the painful, it's like tearing ourselves apart, and we have to learn how to stitch ourselves back together without anesthesia, without lidocaine, without any numbing anything. We have to stitch ourselves back together where we can feel every prick of the needle, every pull of the thread. And we understand that we're doing this because we need to put ourselves back together. But the process of putting ourselves back together is so painful that we realize that the things that we loved once before, they weren't necessarily things that we truly loved. They were things that we thought that we loved because they gave us something that we felt like we were lacking within ourselves. And when we learn that we're never lacking, then it's that understanding and that realization that sometimes it's better to just walk away. So as you go through this painful process of putting yourself back together, of learning how to love yourself, even through the pain of stitching the parts of you that have been torn apart back into wholeness, what that gives you is this strength to say, I am ready to move forward. Why? Because when I move forward, I understand I'm moving forward towards my dreams. I'm moving forward from this place of agony, of limitation, of pain, of sorrow, of suffering, true blue suffering. And I'm learning through the art of putting myself back together that it is okay for me to say, this is not right for me, and to walk away. And as we walk away, then we move forward. And that is the beauty of why the 8 of Cups comes to us. The 3 of Swords, the 8 of Cups, these are 2 of the saddest cards in the deck, 2 of the most challenging cards in the deck, because with the 3 of Swords, there's so many mentalities that are stabbing through us, that are ripping us apart, that we feel like we are torn between every aspect of who we are and what we want and what we believe in. And we endure so much pain, anguish, and suffering that no one can really reach us because of that pain. And it is an incredibly challenging place to be in. And it gives us a certain strength, a strength to say, this isn't working for me anymore. And the 8 of Cups traditionally is somebody who is hunched over. They're wearing a cloak. They're journeying off at night. And they're doing it in a state of pain. Wow, sorry. I am pretty sure I'm hearing my neighbor like outside the phone. I have one window open and I just heard talking that did not come from inside my house. It was very strange. Anyway, back to the 8 of Cups. So the traditional Rider-Waite 8 of Cups is somebody hunched over, going on a journey. They're going to find that 9th cup, but the cups that they have brought together, that they have filled up, have now fallen over. Some of them have broken, some of them have shattered, and the contents are spilling, and the figure on the card just keeps walking away. In this particular 8 of Cups, there's a certain kind of strength that comes through on it, because it's this understanding that sometimes it's not about spilling what we had, it's not about losing what we had, but it's about saying, this isn't right for me. And in that way, we have to burn that connection. Sometimes we It's like the ritual, the calendar tie ritual in order to sever cords, energetic cords. So you have two candles and you have a string between the two candles, or you have a string held and one candle in between, and the candle is set to burn that string so that it representing the tether or the cord that is tethered to you and another, it represents the severing of that. This is very, very similar. But what this is you're severing a cord that your heart has been connected to that has filled up a cup with fallacy. It's like you went through the 7 of cups and the cup that you chose was one that was filled with poison. And so you recognize the poison finally and you set fire to it. You walk away from it. You say, I no longer need this in my life because I am the antidote. And when you realize that you're the antidote, that's when you walk away. And what you're walking towards, what your guides want you to understand, all of this, the point of this, of learning to love yourself, is because you are the one, your heart is the one who knows where all of your cups of your dreams lie, knows where the abundance and the prosperity of this life exists for you. And therefore, once you let go of that, you actually are able to step more fully into your power, more fully into yourself, more fully into the truth of what your heart and your soul is here to do. It's about loving yourself. And when you learn to love yourself, you learn to recognize the things that just don't serve you, the things that bring more pain than help, more harm than good. In no way, shape, or form has this been an easy journey for you. Nor is this point in time, which feels like this kind of combination of these two, an easy point in time. But that's why you're here. No matter when you come across this video, no matter when you're called to this pile, that's why you're here. You are here because you are ready to shift out of the sewing things back together, putting yourself back together, into the I am ready to sever this. I am ready to provide myself with the antidote, which comes from myself, and move forward, because my dreams matter. My heart matters. My truth matters. What is right for me matters. My own personal cycles matter above and beyond what other people tell me my cycles should be. My body knows. My heart knows. My soul knows. And therefore, when these 3 things know, and I learn to embrace them, to love them, to honor them, to cherish them in that way, then I do also learn how to move with my entire being into my prosperous future. So let's get these final little pieces of advice from your ancestors. Now, this is the universe has your back. Through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect of peace in the world. I love this. It's actually reminds me of a message that came through in my last reading about how when you think about something small that we do for ourselves and we think that that won't matter, it won't have any kind of impact. But when you throw a pebble into a lake, the pebble doesn't have to hit multiple places in the lake in order to impact multiple places in the lake. The pebble lands in the one spot, and from there, the ripples of the impact of the pebble move outward. Sometimes we need to sit down and just connect with ourselves, connect with the higher power, connect with something greater than what we have been before, so that we can understand that as we connect and really move in to a peaceful place within ourselves, all we have to do in order to create that ripple effect from that point forward is to just be true and honest with ourselves moving forward. And as we move forward, we radiate that energy outward. So for you, pile 1, I get the sense that you want to make an impact in the world. You want to make a difference in the world. And you do far more than you realize. But until you realize that loving yourself is the greatest impact that you can make, there's still this energy of having to piece yourself together. You keep breaking yourself down for the sake of making sure that you are in the right position, carrying the right cups, filling the right vials. But you, as the alchemist, as the healer, as the spiritual leader in your own life, need do no more than learn to love yourself. Learn that you are the antidote to your own poisons, to the toxins within yourself, whether it's in your physical body or whatnot. You are your own antidote because your heart and your soul know the way. And they will lead you if your mind is open to receiving the guidance from them. Wow, I love this message for you, Pile 1. Yes. And then we have the card 14. Angels are watching over you, supported, protected, loved, and encouraged. Look how much she is struggling here. She's in the middle. She's struggling. She feels so alone. She doesn't realize all around her are these angels guiding, watching over you. You don't have to know your lineage. You don't have to know your ancestry. You don't even have to know where you come from for your ancestors to be there right beside you all the time. So yes, it can be very hard. It can feel like you're all alone trying to do all of this learning and growing and healing by yourself. You're piecing yourself together so much so that you just want to break. And your ancestors want you to know that you are loved and surrounded and protected. That you make a difference just by being you, just by clearing your mind. Clear your mind, you clear your energy, you clear your heart, you clear your soul. Your life clears up from that point, and that really is this energy here. There is a calling for you. You are worthy of it. This happiness, this joy, this dream come true. Doesn't mean the journey is easy. No, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to mince my words. No, it's hard. It's a challenge. It is something that at a lot of times feels absolutely impossible, but that doesn't mean that it is genuinely impossible. If you guys didn't catch my reading from the Virgo new moon, the first one, we're living in a time in which all the things that we thought were impossible really do become possible now. So if you feel like you can never reach your dreams because that's impossible, that's going to be your reality if you accept it. Open yourself up to feeling that, because the alternative, the way that you're feeling right now, is deserted, alone, neglected, discouraged, overwhelmed, torn apart, binded, restricted, in agonizing aloneness, loneliness, seeking forever to find your place and find your people and find your truth and find your place of belonging and find your reasoning for all of the things that hurt, that challenge. Take some time to sit with this energy, to sit with this understanding that you're capable of loving yourself and meant to love yourself, and open your heart to yourself, because it is through that this alleviates itself, that you find the place to burn the candle, and just one side, not both. You're not going to be burning both ends of the candle on this one. You're not going to be overwhelmed. You're going to know what to do each individual step, each individual moment. And your dreams, your truth, your happiness, your singular, personal, individual fulfillment, that's what's coming. That impossibility is becoming your reality. You're not alone. Sometimes we forget that, but you're not alone. Your ancestors surround you, and there's so much love all around you right now. but close your eyes. You'll feel just the tiniest little brush. Your cheek, the back of your neck, your shoulder, along the top of your head and the back of your spine, just letting you know that they're there, letting you know that you're not alone, that there is strength in spirit around you to help you because they love you and they know that you should love yourself. They know that that is your greatest blessing that you could give to the whole world. You are so loved, Pile 1. Pile 1, I'm going to give you just a little bit more energy. Here's the part where we're going to aim at grounding. If you choose to participate in this part, I want you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. And if you're in a place to allow yourself to have that verbal sigh, allow that remaining energy, that tension to come out. Very good. Now just imagine roots from the bottom of your feet going deep down into the earth. As Mother Earth welcomes the rooting, allowing any remaining toxicity or negativity or struggle to sink down into the fertile soil. And from there, sending this golden healing energy up and into your body, reminding you that you belong here in this world, on this earth, who you are, how you are. That as you transmute within yourself, so too does the earth help transmute and return to you as you return to it. Pile 1, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides and your ancestors, to my guides and ancestors, to the Great Spirit, to the heart of the universe, the unconditional, loving source and spirit of all, who created existence and form for us all to grow together. Thank you. Thank you for Pile 1. Thank you for the journey that they have had. Thank you for bringing them here so that they can find this healing, this wisdom. I ask that you help them along their way, that you help them to feel fed, nourished, loved, cared for, to never feel alone or scared, left in the cold, but to remember always within their heart, they will always have a home. Thank you. All right, Pile 1. Just as a reminder for those of you who have accepted the Reiki, please make sure that you give yourself some reflection time to allow the energies to flow, but also to allow the messages to really come forth. The parts that are meant for you, as the parts that aren't, fall away. Remember to drink a lot of water, get some rest, take a nap if you need. And remember that I am ever so grateful for your existence. You belong here. Even if you don't feel like it all the time, you do belong here. So thank you again. I am going to leave you here, and I will see you at my next reading. I love you all. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. If you chose the second card, this is your message of healing from your guides. Not just your guides, but also your ancestors. So Pile 2, we're going to jump right into it. We have the core card here, and we're going to discuss it. But I wanted to start actually with the Devil card down on the bottom. So the Devil card was actually the card on the back of the deck. And your pile is very unique to that your guides and ancestors were working together to bring this to light. So when we're working with the Devil card, and this Devil card in particular is really very important, because this Devil card really highlights the energy of what the Devil card stands for. We normally see a devil sitting there and it's got one hand raised up and one hand down, and it's got two people that are chained to it, but the people don't realize that they don't have to be chained to it. But sometimes we don't realize that we don't have to be chained to it. Wow, that was just really important to get out immediately. So before I move any further, we're going to slow this down. As you guys can see, I do have some sage and some Palo Santo going in order to cleanse the area. If you skip my intro, that's not a big deal. I do want to put out just this kind of disclaimer here that throughout this reading, I am channeling Reiki energy. I have opened my channel. This energy will flow to any and all who choose to open themselves to receive it. And the messages in the reading are intended to help illuminate the areas in which the Reiki is helping heal. You do not have to be open to accepting the Reiki. You don't have to elect to accept the Reiki if it is not something that you wish. It doesn't mean that this reading is not for you. This is just an added benefit or an added blessing that I'm adding on to it, that I was called to by my guides and your guides. So with that said, I am now channeling through this Reiki energy, and we are going to go to the healing oracle now from the Devil card. Remember that this is about recognizing that there are times in our lives where we don't realize that we do genuinely have a choice over our perception, our mentality. So the area in which your guides want to bring to light for healing, and I'm going to go ahead and show you this imagery first. And we're just going to pause on that for a moment. So this is a card that says return to heart. I breathe light and stick to the essential for my soul, the present moment. I calm my thoughts. I focus on my heart and find space to be. Where my light and greatness are, I find peace and inner silence. Sometimes we get caught up, whether it's we're caught up doing shadow work, or we're caught up in this day-to-day living, or we're caught up in the wounds and the pains, and we get really trapped in our own mind. The Devil card in this way talks about that, this understanding that sometimes we don't realize that we do have a choice to break ourselves free of certain things. And a lot of the times when we feel as though that ability, that choice has been stripped from us, that free will gift has been stripped from us, it's because there has been something that has happened that is so far out of our control, but yet impacts us so deeply that we feel like we are along for the ride, essentially. So this is one of those energies of, life happening to you instead of for you. And when we're in that energy of life happening to you instead of for you, it can actually be something where you build greater levels of resentment and build stronger walls and boundaries around yourself from people who say, life is happening for you. This is all because it's some grand plan for you. And there are times in our lives where that, as much as that may be true, that doesn't help. It doesn't help. We can walk through life and we can go through these wounds and these issues and these challenges and these struggles. We can go through these pains and these losses. We can go through things like a broken marriage or a broken relationship. We can go through health crises. We can go through death and loss and grief and suffering and sadness. And we can feel like there is nothing in the world that makes sense. Go through some situation that creates such a intense paradigm shift that it's like we've fallen into some chasm of suffering that we never chose. I didn't choose this. I didn't choose this for myself. We can sit and think to ourselves, and then we get caught up, tangled up in these mentalities like, if I didn't choose this and somebody else chose this for me, this is happening to me and somebody else is torturing me, or the world is torturing me, or spirit, the universe is torturing me, or even worse, we can say, you know what, there is no such thing as a higher power. It's all ludicrous. Why? Because there's suffering, because people are dying, because pain outweighs the light and the love and the happiness. And every moment that we give in to those negative biofeedback loops, those negative thought processes that just keep going and feeding off of each other and building and building and building, every time we give in to those, we pull further and further away from our heart. We pull further away from our authentic self. We pull further away from any kind of peace, and we actually amplify the inner noise. That monkey mind, that, hamster on the wheel of torture and torment that we do to ourselves, and we half the time don't realize that we're doing it to ourselves, but we're just so caught up in the emotionality of whatever is going on, the loss, the grief, the fear, the anxiety. We get so caught up in these things that we don't realize that we are just turning up the internal volume more and more and more. And so we get headaches and we get nauseous and we get exhausted and tired. And we don't realize that what we're doing is we're actually tormenting ourselves, because we don't feel like we have a choice, because life is happening to us. These things are happening to us. And I'm somebody who talks a lot about victim mentality, but this isn't that energy. It's not like you're intending to victimize yourself, or you're saying this is happening because that person did this and this and this. No, it's like you walk out the door and there's a car accident in front of you and they destroy all the work that you just put into your yard, and that's thousands of dollars. You just refenced it. You just put down new sod. You had a whole landscaping thing done, and you spent thousands of dollars to improve this space. And then something completely out of your control, like some random car accident, comes and both cars end up crashing on your front lawn. Now all of what you just paid for is gone. And while there may be some amelioration using their insurance and what have you and whatever, that doesn't change the fact that this huge accomplishment, achievement, this huge moment of moving forward into a better way of being feels like it's just been destroyed, and it's not anything that you did. So placing blame, sure, yeah, we can say, okay, it was this person's fault or this person's fault, but say it was just a genuine accident, black ice, or, it was raining so hard that they hydroplaned, and it wasn't that they were speeding, it's just that there were exactly the right set of circumstances for something to happen like this. So there's no one person to blame. You didn't do anything wrong. They didn't do anything wrong. All of the situation is just circumstantial, but it doesn't change the fact that it feels like you're getting beat down by life, beat down by situations, beat down by the universe. And we can pull ourselves further and further away. And as we pull ourselves further away from these truths that we've held on to, the belief systems and the faith that we have had, when we pull ourselves further away from spirit, or further away from our guides, or further away from our very own heart and soul, we amplify that noise, that mentality that we're just trapped in this pit of suffering. Everything that I do gets defeated because it just happens that way. It's like living life through Murphy's Law. And my sister and I used to talk about that all the time. All the time we used to talk about that. And there are still moments where we'll call each other or text each other and be like, Murphy's Law is running my life again. And those are the really hard moments, because we both know that Murphy's Law states that what can happen will happen. What can go wrong will go wrong. And we can try and overcome, and we can try and spin it positively. But when you're in it, you're in it. And it's really hard, because when you're in the thick of it, all you can do is navigate your way through. That's it. You just have to keep going, but you get tired and exhausted and headaches and genuine like physical ailments. I'm picking up a lot of that from this devil card. You guys might have either Virgo or Capricorn in your 6th house. So that would make you an Aries rising or a Leo rising. You don't have to have those placements, but that's kind of what I'm picking up here. Because Virgo is a lot about reflection energy, but Capricorn is the devil energy. And it's just coming through really, really strongly, but it's coming through really strongly in the sense of like self healing, wellness. There is a intricate link between your psyche and your physicality. And the further that we pull from our heart in those situations, the harder it is to embrace what is going on, because the paradigm shift is not necessarily something that we chose. Before I get into these 2 cards, which are messages from your guides, these are messages from your ancestors. You have a guardian angel that is showing me a little bit. So I'm going to be really blunt and really honest with you, Pile 2. This is not something that I talk about often, especially lately. But if you go back to my videos in September of 2024, you'll see me at maybe 175 pounds or so. It's not my healthiest, but I also wasn't at my unhealthiest. And between mid-September of 2024 and the first week of December of 2024, I gained about 50 pounds. And those pounds I still hold on my body. I'm still working on healing enough to be able to actually successfully lose the weight. So I'm at the heaviest I've ever been. And that's really hard for me because it was such a huge shift in such a short amount of time. And I was talking to my husband about it recently and my therapist about it because I suffer from something called body dysmorphia. So when I'm really, really skinny, I really always see myself as fat. And when I'm fat, I see myself as just like ginormous. Anytime I put on weight, I really have a hard time with my self-image. And it's been that way since childhood and I'm working through it. But in this case, it does me more harm than good to vilify myself for something that was completely out of my control. By the time I walked out of the hospital in November, I had already started gaining the weight. It was such a rapid transformation. And it wasn't because I was overeating. And it wasn't because I was just laying around and anything like that. I didn't drink myself into gaining this much weight. What happened was my entire endocrine system shut down. And your endocrine system also involves your metabolism. So I had literally no metabolism. So anything that I ate, my body held on to. My body was struggling a lot. And then I had to take medications that really, my body would trap water weight because it was corticosteroids. And I was stuck in this perpetual state of like, I have to take these meds in order to live, literally to live. Otherwise, I would have died. I have to take these meds to live my life. But the way that my body is responding has really impacted my mental health until I realized that I get the choice of whether or not I view it as a bad thing or a good thing, as a negative or a positive. I was so far removed from my spirituality, so far removed from myself, so far removed from my path, so far removed from anything resembling who I was because I was so trapped inside the mind. It's not an easy journey back. I'm not 100% healed, not by a long shot. I still have many steps on my healing journey. But I have healed enough to come back so that I can be here for you, Pile 2. So I can be here so that you know, even if your story is different, your situation is different, the resonance isn't in the emotionality of it. It's in the feeling like you're alone, feeling like you're getting beaten down, and knowing that it's not just you. And if it's not just you, then it isn't because of you. It's not because you're unworthy. It's not because you've done anything wrong. It's not because you are wrong. It's a cycle. I honestly don't know. Like, I'm not at the point yet in my own journey where I truly understand my part of it, but I'm here to tell you that you're not alone in it. Whatever it is that you're going through, the circumstances and the situation may be different, but the emotionality is not. And therefore you are not alone. And that is really important for that guardian angel to bring forth to you. Okay, now we can get into what your guides want to say. And this has to do with what it is that's hindering it. It's like there's two different parts of you that are fighting, trying to get back to your heart, but there's this big wall between them. So let's find out what those two parts are. Yeah, the Four of Pentacles and the Empress. Okay, this makes sense. So in this way, it's this desire for security, for safety, for stability. You want to know that everything is going to be okay, but there is no guarantee that everything is going to be okay. And that is one of the hardest things to hear. Why? Because we want to know, we want that guarantee. So that, I gotta cover that up, so that we feel like we don't have to cling so hard to everything and really restrict ourselves and limit ourselves. I can't go to the market because what if I lose if I spend a pentacle, I'm one pentacle down. And we can only see what we have lost. We can't see what we have spent that pentacle on as something that we are gaining, as something that can benefit us, as something that can actually expand the other three pentacles into something even greater than what they are at that point. We only see the fact that we've lost that one other pentacle. And so we cling to it really tightly, and then we hold ourselves back from any kind of interaction with the outside world or interaction with a give and take with the universe. And so we have this back and forth. I want to expand. I want my life to expand. I want to expand out into the world. I want to grow. I want to be filled with light and love and fertility and creativity. And I want to feel that energy. But I'm afraid that if I take even a tiny step towards that the universe is going to slam it in my face, and boom, I'm stuck right here. So this wall that's between you is this, it's a hindrance that comes from a lack of trust. And this lack of trust, it's not unfounded. It's not inaccurate. Your guides are saying it's not that we want you to not trust us, but we understand why you don't. What you have been through, what you have suffered through, what you have endured through has been there to build your resilience. But when we become resilient, when we move so far into resilience that we forget what it's like to be in the heart, then we are in this perpetual warrior mode and we don't actually feel that lightness. So we are stuck in this energy of, I know what I want, but I can't get there because if I even try, then everything that I have had to sacrifice, to build, to establish can be lost. So for some of you, this may be that the cars haven't crashed and destroyed all the landscaping yet, but there's that fear that they will. And when you go through enough things in life where that is the case, that's what always happens, then yes, it's understandable to hold on to that, well, what if kind of energy. And we call it preparation, and we call it, we hope for the best and prepare for the worst. And when we prepare for the worst, but we don't allow ourselves to actually hope for the best and actually believe that our hope will lead us into the best. So therefore, we're just sitting there going, I am ready for shit to hit the fan. I see what I want. But because every time I've taken a step towards what I want, I've experienced destruction in some way, shape, or form, I'm so afraid. I'm afraid to move towards it. I'm afraid to even try. And I understand that too. I've been in that place too. It's hard for me to still come back here. And I work through that every single time. Why? Because I took such a long hiatus that I lost a lot from having to honor what my heart said about me needing to move away from this channel for a time frame. And then there was this uncertainty of me coming back, because if I came back and I put my all into it and it didn't pan out again, I don't know how I would respond or react. And after everything that I've lost already, it's very hard for me because I love this place. I love this channel. I love this community, and I love doing this work. So yes, I do understand. Again, it's one of those resonant things where your guides want you to know that you're not alone. This dilemma, this dynamic, the thing is if you look, their eyes are both closed. But in this way, it's this refusal to look at the opportunities being afforded to you. Why? Because if you open your eyes, what are you staring at? You're staring at all of the negatives that could possibly happen. Your eyes open up and all you can see is all the ways that everything can go wrong. But if you turn your back to all of that and you close your eyes and you listen and you hold on to the sense inside of you of what could be, and that sense inside of you of what could be grows and grows and grows, then you birth a new life into your existence, into your reality. That's really what your guides want you to be aware of, is if you allow yourself the trust to step back into your heart, to let that noise, that cacophony of sound inside of you to dull until there's little to none left, then from that point, you can understand on an intuitive and spiritual and emotional level exactly how loved, protected you are. And that time, that call up moment that is here for you right now, your guides are, it's here. If you tear down this wall and choose to turn your back on all of the negative thoughts, when you do that, that peace, that inner silence that settles upon you, settles your spirit. It settles your energy. It settles your heart, your soul, your mind. And that's how healing works. And I talked a little bit about my most recent medical issues and the impact of them. But about 5 years ago, I was at a really awful point in my medical journey again, or prior. There was the pandemic going on, and I was sick consistently because I have a weakened immune system, and things just kept getting worse, and life kept piling on top of me and on top of me until I freed my own mind. And it was miraculous. And if it happened once, then it can happen again. So that means that if it can happen again, you can have again what you desire. You can have that dream, that wish, that goal, that hope, that life of light and love, that truth, that powerful calling that you feel. You can have that. And it does. It comes down to the choice of how we view it mentally. So let's get these messages from your ancestors. We're going to start with the angels and auras. So we have Michael, number 6, and blue, wise, honest, trustworthy, and observant. Sometimes just speaking out the fears that we have give us the power to overcome those fears. Sometimes recognizing that as we embrace who we are, as we embrace our truth, as we embrace our vision, as we let go of the fear and the uncertainty. We move forward into this space where we have what we want. Sometimes self-honesty can be the hardest thing to do. We can be really honest with other people, like honest to a fault with other people. Absolutely. I am one of those people. I am honest to a fault with other people. But honesty with myself has taken me a lot of time and a lot of cultivation, and I'm not perfect at it. I work at it. I work at it because it's important to work at it. That self-honesty here is recognizing how you're holding yourself back. Are you holding yourself back from the possibility that you might just be able to have more than what you have? You might be able to have that dream that you wish for, that hope and that desire that is so deep and profound and ingrained inside of your heart and your soul that you can birth that into being in this life. But when you cling to what you have because you're afraid of losing it, you're actually creating the blockage that doesn't allow for more to come in. And so the disappointment that you feel, the disappointment, the fear, the guarded, the self-doubt, that feeling that you have is because you're blocking your own truth from yourself. This truth that, well, if my heart tells me it is to be, then is it not to be so? Of course it is, because your heart is telling you the truth. And your mind can play tricks on you. And it's about recognizing which one to listen to. And then you guys actually got 2 of these. The universe has my back. Yes. The moment I realign with love, clear direction is presented to me, and oneness is my true nature. I'm getting like a Rorschach ink blot test, and it's like it's that psyche thing. It's getting back into your psyche. It's aligning your psyche and your heart into one. Oneness is your true nature. So being on the same page, mind, body, spirit, soul, all of it. Your heart and your mind are on the same page. When you feel that sense of oneness, that true spiritual nature that you are, then you realize that fear is simply the opposite of love. It's the other side of the coin, which means that fear is just teaching you what is important. It's teaching you what you love enough to bring it into being. So now is the time to return to your heart, to realign with love, because from that point forward, now you can take that step. You can trust that you can move beyond that wall that has you so afraid to look at the mentalities that have been holding you back and say, you know what? This is a mentality that's been holding me back. This is a mentality that's been holding me back. I have these mentalities because this happened in my life and that happened in my life. I didn't have power in those situations, which means that those situations were intended to occur in my life in order for me to realize the power that I do have lies within me. It's in my heart. It's in my soul. It's in my mind. It's in the alignment of these things so that I can move forward in love, regardless of whether there is so much hatred around me or whether there is all of this toxicity around me or what have you, whatever it is. I can move beyond it because I know that it happened and I had no control over it, which means that I have the power in how I respond or how I react. And if I choose to react, then I can be very honest with myself. And I was very reactive. So let me respond in a new way. Let me come back to myself, come back to my heart. And that's really what your guides and your ancestors are calling for you to do. Come back to your heart, your truth, your soul. Silence that inner critic, silence that inner biofeedback loop, that negative biofeedback loop that tells you all of the ways that the universe is going to defeat you, because it's not. It's not there to defeat you. It's there to help build you up. This is you and the universe in oneness, because you are inside the totality of wholeness within yourself, and the heart is aligned always with love. And when the heart is always aligned with love, it's always aligned with spirit. So your heart is where you're called to here and now. Pile 2, I'm going to close this out with sending some Reiki for grounding. And I ask any of you who are engaged with this, who would like to have a little bit of guidance into grounding using this energy, please close your eyes, take a deep breath in and out. And if you're in a space where you can really let that out breath be an audible thing, you can help really release any extra tension, any hesitance, any blockages. So let's do this one more time. In, and then we'll let it out on a sigh. In and out. Now, I want you to imagine there are roots coming from the bottom of your feet. Imagine those roots going down, down, down into the fertile soil of Mother Earth, spreading out, moving down towards the molten golden core, that loving energy of the mother that birthed life onto this planet so that we could be here. And just as every mother does for their child, allow Mother Earth to give you stability and safety, grounding, to take from you that which you no longer need to carry. Allow any negativity to flow down through those roots into that fertile soil, into that golden molten core to be transmuted. And allow the love of our Divine Mother, the Great Mother, and the Mother of our physical world, our physical selves, to flow back into you as though you were a newborn babe. Remember, no matter what age, what place, what state, what part of your journey you are on, you are still a child of the Great Mother and the Great Father. You are still held and protected. You are always safe with them. Here, allow them to give you stability and grounding within yourself, confidence in holding to your center, standing in this space of living from the heart. Trust in that space, in that alignment, in the next step, and know that every step that you take, those roots remain. They ground you, they steady you. Thank you to the Great Mother and Great Father. Thank you for the collective of Pile 2. Thank you for their pure hearts. May this reading help ease their troubled minds. May it help release them from their blockages. May they find that confidence and that strength within themselves to choose a new way of viewing and seeing themselves in the world. May they know that they belong, that they have a place, that they have resonance, and that they have someone that they can connect with, a community that they can connect with here. So they know that they are never alone. They were always loved. And their love matters. It matters to me, and it matters to you, and it matters to the world. Thank you. Thank you, guides, ancestors. Thank you to the guardian angels of Pile 2 that came through for their messages. Thank you. Pile 2, this is all I have for you today. I am sending you so much love. And remember, if you did choose to accept the Reiki, please take some time if you can to rest, to reflect, journal. Some of you may want to sketch. Allow the pencil on the page to show you what you need to see. Allow the words to flow through freely. And don't forget to drink lots of water, hydrate, and allow for the water to help the energy move through for this healing and this cleansing for you. Pile 2, thank you again so much for being here. It is such an honor and a blessing to be able to sit in this healing session with you, for you, together. I love you all, and I cannot wait to see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose the third card, this is your healing message from your guides, as well as your ancestors. For those of you who skipped over the introduction, not a big deal. I do want to start with putting out a disclaimer. As you guys can see, I am doing some kind of deep cleansing here with Palo Santo, doing some deep cleansing with sage. The intention of these is to help the energy flow really smoothly from me to you. Throughout this reading, I am also offering REIKI healing, which will flow through me as we go through the message. I did already open my channel. Oh, there. See, and I already felt acceptance of the energy, which is beautiful. And that is one big part of the way that this works is if you choose to not accept it, that is not a big deal. It doesn't mean that this reading isn't for you. The messages very well may be for you, for your healing, but this may not be the time for you to accept the REIKI. It may be something you're uncomfortable with. I understand that completely. The REIKI is set to flow to only those who are open to receiving and accepting it. And the intention of the healing energy itself is for the help in internal healing through the messages that are brought forth today. I do encourage anybody and everybody who accepts the healing to take some time at the end of this reading to ground yourself however may feel right. We will go through a guided grounding visualization and activity together before I disconnect the REIKI and end the reading. But it is still good for you to practice your own rituals or engage in your own practices when it comes to grounding. I also encourage you, if you have the time, to spend some time alone and in reflection, perhaps journaling, talking to your guides, engaging in some form of artwork. Perhaps it's painting or sculpting for some of you. I just kind of got little brief glimpses of those to help your deep subconscious and unconscious minds to bring forth greater levels of awareness that this reading is intended to open the door for you, Pile 3. Interesting. You have a very unique energy, quite different from the other piles, which doesn't mean that if you were drawn to the other ones, you're not meant to be here. It's just that this is a different dynamic, a different layer of energy. Interesting. I also encourage you to, if you accept the REIKI, to please make sure that you hydrate yourself afterwards. REIKI does actually, it's such a beautiful thing, but the body needs a little bit of extra help, and water is the bridge between the spiritual and the physical a lot of the time. And it genuinely helps the body to stay hydrated, and it helps to cleanse the body through and help the REIKI energy flow through in that cleansing as well. So I'd say probably about 32 ounces would be great. If you can get in 32 ounces between the time in which you interact with the reading and the time in which you go to bed for the night. Unless you're watching this at night, then you may want to drink just 8 ounces of water, and then in the morning drink an additional 8 ounces of water. Yep. Okay. That's very interesting. Pile 3, the energy here is quite different. As I said in that intro, I am here for it. I find it absolutely beautiful. So the card is this energy healing card. That's the oracle that we're working with as the overall energy. These 3 cards down here are messages from your guides in particular. And these up here are from very specifically your ancestral team. Not that your ancestral team are not your guides. They actually help collaborate on these bottom ones, but they wanted to separate themselves. There is a very strong ancestral energy lately in the collective, but especially when it comes to this reading, they really want to come through. So pile 3, I'm going to move this card up as I have been for everyone because I find these images very, very important to the messages. It's almost as though the images themselves are keys that help unlock pieces of your subconscious and unconscious minds. All right. So you have the card Gratitude. It says, I am aware of the light in my life. I direct my thoughts to the beauty in and around me. I give thanks to God for every little thing that brings me joy. Thus, I enlighten my thoughts. Riches surround me and I appreciate all that life brings me. I almost get this energy of resistance as soon as I started saying riches surround me and I appreciate all that life brings me. And it's something that I understand for myself. And I almost feel like I understand it in a different way, but some way that might be adequate as a bridge. So let me attempt here. There is a sort of resistance energy when it comes to things like manifestation, law of attraction, but it's more about not necessarily a resistance in your energy. So for me, I have a really hard time with, I understand like the steps and the procedures to the law of attraction and to manifestation, but it would seem in my life that manifestation works differently and I haven't quite figured that out for myself. And so I kind of resist things like The Secret, even though I've read it. Different online gurus. I don't want to name any names specifically and upset anybody. I know I'm a small channel, but I also was part of communities that I'm not a quiet person necessarily all the time, but certain gurus who teach manifestation techniques and practices that don't necessarily elaborate upon the true nature of how it works. It's just more of a universalized idea. So this riches surround me and I appreciate all that life brings. What I get from it is kind of like, pile 3, do you identify yourself as a realist? Like a spiritual realist. So it's I understand there's a higher power. I understand that there is this energy, that there is magic, and I have engaged in it and experienced it for myself. However, I also understand that life is very difficult. Things aren't always bright and shiny. And so it's naive if we continue. Oh, yeah. Okay. I get it. Thank you, guys. It's this energy of it's naive if I continue to say, oh, light and love, but I don't acknowledge the darkness and the shadow. You are, and so you come off as this kind of realist or pragmatist, but in reality, what you are is you're a person who sees the totality of what existence is, what life is, what this human experience is. You understand the totality of it and you understand the nature of toxicity. And toxicity is neither positive nor negative exclusively. It is both. That's why they say it's toxic positivity. It's this light and love that spiritually bypasses all of the things. But if we spend so much time dragged down in the darkness and in the shadows, and we really don't allow ourselves to see that other side, we also get stuck in this negative toxicity. And we struggle because there's this concept of balance, but nobody really understands what the nature of balance is, because it's different for every single person out in the world. What brings balance into my life may imbalance your life. And so the way that you are, pile 3, seems to be someone, it's an energy that I am picking up that really does move in your very own way. It's like you have your own resonance. This is an energy I've picked up a couple of times on my channel. I get this. You have your own resonance. You have a very unique signature. And when you have that very unique signature, it can be very hard to embrace it and feel that gratitude for it. It can be hard to be like, awesome, yeah, I feel this greatness. I feel this joy. I feel this light. I see all the beauty in my life. Because while we can see the beauty, it doesn't mean that we can engage in it completely all the time. I spent a lot of time last year in 2024 really working at creating a healing energy within my home, in redecorating, repainting, revitalizing the energy in my living space, because there was so much brokenness that I really needed it. My family really needed it. And it is absolutely beautiful. But because I'm the kind of person that's like, okay, project done, next project down. Like I was boom, boom, boom. I never let myself sit and really experience the energy until I started filming in the space that I really poured my heart and soul into. This is meant to be a healing space. It was a healing space that was created because it was a response to extreme emotional and mental anguish. And I am so grateful for it now, but I had to slow myself down, and I had to do something that brings me great levels of appreciation and gratitude for my life in order to really engage in it. So sometimes it's about recognizing where it is that we're struggling to connect to. Why are we struggling to connect to that area? And recognizing that those areas really are beautiful. Sometimes the ugliest things in the world are the most beautiful. There's an episode of Grey's Anatomy. I want to say it's season 5. And it's a man who is having a face transplant. So he is part of this online orchid community, and his orchid is considered really ugly because it's darker in coloring, and it just isn't the one that everybody wants. It's not that bright, bubbly coloring or anything like that, but it has this quiet beauty, this stoic beauty. And sometimes we lose sight of the things that are actually genuinely beautiful in our lives because they get marred by something painful. We go through relationships that have struggles, and we have conflict in those relationships. And because of those situations, it can be hard to see the beauty in them. We can struggle with our own body image or our physical health or our idea of who we are out in the world based off of interactions or experiences that we have. And so we can find it very hard to see the beauty in ourselves. Your guides want you to know that the healing here today is to help you understand that there is beauty in the darkness. There is beauty in the pain, beauty in the suffering. So for all the realist perceptions, for all the understanding of the polarities of life, if this happens, then this can also happen. So if a birth can happen, then so too can a death happen. But if a death can happen, then so too can a birth happen. So it does work in tandem with one another. It works the same either direction, but we can focus on one over the other and lose sight of the beauty. Your guides want you to know that they really appreciate the fact that you're very real about your spiritual journey. You found a way to ground it into something that is part of your day-to-day life. But in doing so, a bit of that magic, that curiosity, that kind of youthful wonder has been lost. And with that, as much as we say that we have gratitude, we can, it's as though that little bit of wonder that is lost inside of us is holding back the experience of full gratitude in our lives. So let's see what your guides have to say. All right, we've got the Seven of Pentacles, we've got Judgment, and we have the Six of Wands. I love this. We can work and work and work and heal and heal and heal, and we can do a whole lot. In this case, there's a lot of work that you've done on your root, whether it's your root chakra, whether it is ancestral and bloodline work. I get kind of a duality of both of them. The Seven of Pentacles is a card of waiting. We have to be very patient. But in this one in particular, he's flowing Reiki energy, and he's flowing it into a place to provide light to something that isn't getting enough for whatever reason. And we can feel as though we're trapped in the perpetually providing for, or we have to consistently and continually push and push and push and dedicate all of our time and our energy into this healing, into this waiting game. But when we release ourselves from recognizing or from seeing it in that light, when we let ourselves go, we realize that we're really casting judgments on ourselves in our journey. We're casting these judgments that are saying, I'm not going to allow myself to experience the riches of life. I'm not going to allow myself to really appreciate everything that is brought to me, because I understand that everything that's brought to me has its opposite. I experience life in the polarity sense, so I have to experience both sides. But we can release ourselves from seeing that as a negative, and from there we can actually experience such profound blessings, profound success in our life. There is this almost congratulatory energy from your guides because you've come so far. You've been through so much and you've come so far. And the limitation that exists right now is the fact that you feel as though you have to be significantly more patient than you actually need to be. You have nurtured and raised yourself and others, and you have healed so much more in this lifetime than the 3 or 4 generations prior to you. And because of that, the 3 or 4 generations after you are going to experience life in this beauty, in this grid work of blessings, of abundance, of prosperity. It's like I'm hearing like the cha-ching of a slot machine, like somebody pulling it down, and I can see it or hear the wheels spinning and hear just like the ding, 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 ding. It's like you took a risk, you took a chance, you gambled on yourself and on your healing. You gambled on the patience that you were providing for yourself on this journey. Nothing is easy. Nothing that seems as though it should be easy really was for you or is for you. And there's a lot of really hard pills that I feel like you've had to swallow, but there's this energy coming forth to say, you're getting blessed in different ways, but you'll be able to feel it, see it, and experience it if you allow yourself the freedom to recognize what you've done. I almost get that the gratitude here is your guides want you to feel more gratitude for yourself because they feel so much gratitude for you. And there's a difficulty in connection, because when I look at the Six of Wands card, I see this figure and they're celebrating, but they're celebrating in front of a bunch of spirits. Your guides are already cheering you. They're already celebrating you. They're waiting for you to celebrate and cheer yourself because you're the one that did the work. You have come this far. You have really transformed and healed so much more than what your soul originally contracted. I mean, look, we've got this whole thing here. Look at these dots here on this card and how they connect with the Judgment card. What you did, all the healing that you did it because it set you free from the chains and the bounds of certain things, certain patterns of behavior and patterns of belief systems. And yes, it marred a bit of that childlike innocence within you, but it doesn't mean that you can't get it back. Let's find out what your ancestors have to say. Look, you can't make this up. Card number 13 with abundance, faith, optimism, excitement, breakthrough. This is what they want you to feel again. You literally have like golden pairs. That's what they want you to experience. They want you to remember to believe in all of this because you've really done so many amazing things that maybe the world hasn't seen. Maybe it feels like you've been healing inside a vacuum where it's just something that you just keep doing over and over and over again. And what's the benefit? Where is the abundance in it? Where are the riches? Where is the success? And a lot of the times that's what happens when we do this timeline healing, when we do these ancestral bloodline healings, we don't see it because we are retroactive healing, essentially. We're going back into the past and we're healing the past. And because we're healing the past, our present moment is slowly transforming. And we might not see that right away. We might not see that for years. It might take 7 years. It might be very rapid. It might not. But your ancestors want you to understand that what you did was you healed yourself into a state of abundance, and they want you to get excited about it. And here again, we come back around to this energy of law of attraction, and they want you to understand that it's about you preparing yourself emotionally because it's already on its way. It's already been received. It's just waiting to be opened. It's like a package that you receive in the mail, but you haven't opened the package yet. It's sitting on your counter and it's just sitting there waiting for you to open it, but you don't really realize that it's sitting there on the counter, or it's sitting on the counter and you don't realize that it was shipped to you because it's got a different name, or that the shipping label got lost or something it's this distortion. It's like, well, I can't open it now because it's not my birthday. I can't open it now because X, Y, and Z. I don't know if it's for me. Maybe it was for my neighbor. It doesn't have my name on it. But all of these things. So you sit and you are very patient. You wait for somebody to come and fetch it, or you wait for your birthday to roll around, or you wait for this, or you wait for that. And your guides are saying, get really excited about what's in that box. Get really excited about that gift that is already on your counter. Get excited about what you already have because it's already here and it's waiting for you to open it. They want you to get excited. They want you to feel it through your whole being, through your whole entire sense of self. They want you, oh my gosh, normally in this card, I see it as somebody like setting themselves free. In this way, I see it as like your higher self descending down and settling into you and awakening within you. It's this welcoming in of this higher perspective, this higher resonance, and recognizing in that moment that all of the experience of what has already arrived that's waiting to be opened, it comes from you accepting that part of you, successfully integrating that part of you. So let's get this second message. Oneness is my true nature. Exactly. Oneness right here. Oh my gosh. I love that. Holy cow. Pile 3. Oh my goodness. Talk about magic. Like literally, I've never seen the Judgment card that way before today. And then all of a sudden I see it and we get this confirmation that oneness is your true nature, which means that you're ready to open whatever gift it is that is sitting on your counter. You're ready for it. You have really done the work. Look how you nurtured something from its absolute infancy, and look at all that it is producing now, all the healing that you've done. It's time to take a step back and appreciate all that you've done for yourself and for others, because it really is so profound and so amazing. Let yourself really see the blessing that you are in this world for what you have done. There's so much ready for you. So in this healing, this is about you having the confidence to just see that the beauty still exists, even in the hardships, even in the tough times. You've seen both sides of the coin. Now experience both sides of the coin. You've done so much. Let the universe do for you now. Pile 3, that is the message I have for you. So let's go ahead and do this REIKI grounding. So if you want to close your eyes, if you're in a space in which you can be a little bit audible here, please feel free to join me. I'm going to walk you through doing a deep breath in, and then we'll release it on a sigh. This helps really loosen up the energy within you that might be tense from any of the messages within this reading. And it helps the REIKI flow through. And then I will do the guided visualization for getting you grounded and rooted. And then we will do the closing. So let's take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Very good. One more. Now I want you to imagine the roots that you have nurtured come from the bottom of your feet, and they go down deep into the fertile waiting soil of Mother Earth. They spread wide, strengthen, grounding you. And as they go deeper and deeper to the heart of Mother Earth, the heart of unconditional love and nurturance, flowing from you, is any hesitance for this energy to flow through freely. And it drops down. And just as every mother does, it's accepted, seen, and lovingly kissed better. And as that heart touches those wounds, that love flows through, that unconditional love and nurturance flows through up into your body, creating a great symbiotic, grounding, rooted connection between you and Mother Earth, helping you to flow energetically, emotionally, mentally into your abundance, strengthening you just as you strengthen the world. Pile 3, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of the work and the dedication, the patience, and the willingness to go to the places that most people fear or reject or deny. And you do it with bravery, confidence, courageousness, with a dedication to completion, no matter how long it takes. You have the soul of a warrior and the heart of a poet, and this world is better because you are in it. The future is better because you exist in the present. Thank you for being here. Thank you to your guides and ancestors for bringing forth the messages, the connection, and the love today. Thank you to my guides and ancestors and the Great Spirit for helping me to be a bridge of messages between the divine and the collective of pile 3. May this healing flow. May their hearts expand, their lives grow, just as those seeds that they planted, those healing blessings, turned into abundance. May they experience all that that is within their lives. Thank you so much. Pile 3, thank you again for being here. It has been an honor and a blessing to work with your energy, your guides, your ancestors, and to be a conduit of healing energy for you. I pray that you have the greatest day moving forward. Don't forget, reflection and water are truly 2 of the best medicines and the simplest ones. I love you all, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye.